Happy Election Day to everybody except Donald Trump, who woke up pretty unhappy this morning and certainly went to bed losing his mind, and rightfully so, because Donald Trump is facing down some of the most damaging blows to his presidency that Democrats are going to deliver on this election day. Not only the opportunity to blow up Donald Trump's attempts to rig the midterms by passing Prop 50 out in California, but electing 3 Democrats in Virginia and New Jersey, and of course in New York City, who are going to fight back against his authoritarian regime. But that's not all, because Rachel Maddow shared more of what is going to blow up Donald Trump's term last night, and it had him melting down on Truth Social. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into that Trump post, I want to see what Maddow had to say about the current state of Donald Trump's term that has him so upset.
In terms of how Americans are feeling right now about this presidential term and about how things are going in the country right now, well, there's lots of new data on that I can show you right now. Let's start with the new CNN poll. New CNN poll shows that Donald Trump has never been more unpopular than he is right now. Donald Trump's disapproval rating in this new CNN poll, it's actually higher. His disapproval rating is higher than it was in the immediate aftermath of January 6th. After January 6th, a whopping 62% of Americans said they disapproved of Trump. Today, the number of Americans who say they disapprove of Donald Trump is not 62%, it is 63%. 63% disapprove, only 37% approve of Trump. That means right now he is 26 points underwater in terms of his approval rating with the American people. That's astonishing. Elsewhere in this CNN poll, we learned that Americans say that Trump has hurt America's standing in the world more than helped it. And they say that by a 24-point margin. Since he has been back in office, he has hurt America's standing in the world more than he has helped it. America, how do you feel about Trump tearing down the East Wing of the White House? Well, 10% of Americans say they like that. His support on that is 10%. More than 5 times as many Americans say him doing that makes them feel dissatisfied or angry. He's underwater by 44 points on tearing down the East Wing of the White House to build his ballroom. Washington Post ABC News Ipsos poll is also just out. Trump's overall approval rating in that poll, he's underwater minus 18. In this poll, right after January 6th, his disapproval rating spiked to 60%. Again, that's right after January 6th. Disapproval, 60%. Today in this poll, it's 59% disapproval, which means in this poll, he is within 1 point of where he was in the immediate wake of his supporters laying violent siege to the U.S. Capitol in a failed attempt to try to seize power by force. And they asked a question here. Not just bluntly, do you approve or disapprove of Trump, but they asked it a little nuance to it in a way that is always interesting to me, because even if you are not a supporter of President Trump, let's say, everybody knows somebody who is a really strong supporter of Trump, right? I mean, whether it's a coworker or an uncle or some other family member, maybe there's, a neighbor down the street who's got all the Trump flags on his truck or whatever. I mean, everybody knows somebody, and the national media pays so much attention to people who are strong Trump supporters. But how many of them are there? Well, look at this. This, again, is that Washington Post ABC News Ipsos poll. Trump's overall approval rating is minus 18. He's 18 points underwater overall. But if you look at the nuance, if you look at the people who feel strongly, the proportion of Americans who strongly approve of Trump is 20%. The proportion of Americans who strongly disapprove of Trump is 46%. People who strongly disapprove of Trump outnumber the people who strongly approve of him by significantly more than 2 to 1.
Things quite literally couldn't be going worse for Donald Trump. These are historically bad poll numbers. We haven't seen poll numbers this bad since Donald Trump's first term or last week, but it just keeps getting worse for Donald Trump. There is nothing that he could do, I guess, except change course on every single one of his policies to try to save his presidency at this point. But people are furious with the disgusting ICE raids that he has carried out. People are furious with the horrible economic conditions that he has created. People are furious that Donald Trump is covering up for his pedophile buddies. And so he is freaking out as he is begging Republicans to give him a singular win by ending this government shutdown, melting down on Truth Social amid all of these terrible polls, and it didn't look too good for him, as we can see here. Trump wrote in a lengthy Truth Social post, "The Democrats are far more likely to win the midterms in the next presidential election if we don't terminate the filibuster, the nuclear option, because it will be impossible for Republicans to get common sense policies done with these crazed Democrat lunatics being able to block everything by withholding their votes. For 3 years, nothing will be passed and Republicans will be blamed. Elections, including the midterms, will be rightfully brutal. If we do not terminate the filibuster, we will get everything approved if we do terminate it, like no Congress in history. We will be fair, free, and safe elections, no men and women's sports or some transphobia, strong borders, major tax and energy cuts, and we will secure our Second Amendment, which the Democrats will also terminate immediately if we don't do it. They are far more likely to do well in the upcoming elections, which would mean a packed Supreme Court, sounds great, 2 more states and 4 more Democratic senators, sounds great, and 8 more electoral votes. Keep talking. Remember, Republicans, they are going to end the filibuster as soon as they get the chance. We know this because they already tried, and the only 2 people who didn't go along with it are now out of office, but they have much less of a chance of winning if we have great policy wins after wins after wins. In fact, they will lose big and for a very long time. Terminate the filibuster now, end the ridiculous shutdown immediately, and then, most importantly, pass every wonderful Republican policy that we have dreamt of for years but never gotten. We will be the party that cannot be beaten, the smart party. So, of course, Donald Trump wants Republicans to terminate the filibuster so he can get out of this shutdown without actually negotiating with Democrats, because he can't negotiate with Democrats, and Democrats should not negotiate with Donald Trump. And so he's freaking out right now. He knows how bad his poll numbers are. He's admitting that he's going to lose the midterms, he'll lose the Congress, and he will be able to do nothing. It will be the end of his term effectively if Democrats continue to push back. But what is at the end there, that little closing sentence, we will always win, we'll win everything. Donald Trump's not just talking about the filibuster when he's saying he wants to blow up some political norms, that he wants to change things to make it easier for him to win. Republicans are gearing up, maybe not to get rid of the filibuster, but Mike Johnson has currently gotten rid of democracy in the House of Representatives. His refusal to swear in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva is a criminal action. He has made it incredibly clear that he will undermine democracy to whatever end Donald Trump needs to protect Trump, to protect all of the Epstein associates, and to protect himself because he only cares about his job. And that is the reason right now why MAGA is so underwater. And it's not just because of their economic policy, it's also because of what they're doing in the White House, literally doing to the White House. And Maddow continued to break that down right here.
Okay. Round number, understandable number, 30% of Americans say they consider themselves to be a supporter of the MAGA movement. Compared to that, what proportion of Americans say they are a supporter of the No Kings movement? 43%. 43% of this country says they consider themselves to be a supporter of the No Kings protest movement, which means not only does the base of support for the No Kings movement absolutely dwarf the base of support for MAGA in this country, but in absolute terms, it also means that support for No Kings, support for the No Kings movement against Trump, it's just huge. I mean, 43% of this country, that's 147 million people. I think we're going to need a bigger boat. I mean, that number is absolutely stunning to me. I got to say, I have covered the heck out of the No Kings movement as it has taken shape from the very outset of this presidential term for Trump. I would have thought organizers and participants in these protests would be whooping and hollering and cheering if they learned that they had 10% support in this country or 15% support in this country. 43%? Well, MAGA support is 30%, and it's been dropping hard since Trump has been back in office. I don't know what terrible numbers like these for Trump and terrible numbers like these for his MAGA movement are going to mean for tomorrow's elections. I will tell you, CNN asked about it in sort of a roundabout way in their poll. CNN asked, if you were voting for Congress today, would you think of your vote as being more to send a message of support to Trump, or would you think of your vote as being a message of opposition to Trump? They asked that question in the new CNN poll, and the proportion of Americans who said they wanted their vote to be seen as a message of support for Trump, that proportion is 21%. The proportion of Americans who said they wanted their vote to be a message of opposition to Trump was nearly twice that, 41%. So, I mean, read into that what you may. If you're a business leader watching this right now thinking about, I wonder if we should continue to do things to really kowtow to Trump and to be really seen to be putting our thumb on the scale in order to please Trump. I wonder if that'll be good for our bottom line. Take a little temperature of the public here, guys. You're aligning yourself with something pretty radically and deeply unpopular. And what is Trump himself doing to make himself more palatable to the American people as we head toward tomorrow's election day? Well, on the eve of tomorrow's vote, the administration cut off SNAP food benefits for 42 million of the poorest Americans, including many, 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 many millions of Republican voters. The SNAP program goes back to the Great Depression. It has never cut people off before, but the Trump administration cut people off as of Saturday. And then today, only when forced by a federal court in Rhode Island, did they begrudgingly concede that they might half fund SNAP benefits. And who knows for how long? Meanwhile, literally at the same time he is cutting off food aid to 40+ million Americans, Trump was bragging online about the new marble and gold-toned bathroom he just built himself at the White House. At your expense. He held a party at his mansion at Mar-a-Lago, which had a Roaring '20s Great Gatsby theme, because, remind me again what happened right at the end of the Roaring '20s? Google 1929, just see what comes up.
These guys are historically unpopular, and we need to be talking about their failures every single day, every single second. We also need to be getting out and voting. If you are in PA, if you are in New Jersey, if you are in California, if you are in Virginia, if you are in New York City, and you have not voted already, it's the first time and last time I'm going to say this. Turn off my show. Go out and vote. There are more important things than watching me today, but we are going to be having lots of updates on this election day. So if you want to support the show and keep up with all the breaking news, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, drop a blue heart in the comments, turn notifications on, because we got a lot of news to cover today. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.